Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 974 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Pyles. Today, I'm joined by Ben Funky Askren and Ollie Stone, our special co-host for the week, actually, because JD is flying back today and flying out on Thursday.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just for today. So, shout out for week-long stays.
I'm breaking news here.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And man, what a weekend. Yet again, wrestling delivers. Ben Askren, what's on the top of your mind right now, buddy?
Well, I mean, the only thing that we can talk about first is Veto. I actually did not watch this live. I was told about this during practice, and it was one of those like, are you messing with me? Like, surely you're joking, because this didn't actually happen, did it? But it actually happened.
They were not joking, and don't call them Shirley. Ryan Crookham really beat Veto Arujau.
That happened.
It happened, and what a weekend for Crookham. Now, he was on the radar. He's someone we've been talking about. We've been talking about this roster battle between he and Connor McGonigal.
And they went to over. It was funny because I think some of the people used Journeyman as their wrestle off because they wrestled first round in the event.
Yes.
And they went to overtime.
Yes, they did. They did go to overtime. It was 2 takedowns to none for Crookham.
You know, a big takeaway for the first 2 weeks, Christian, is I thought that the 3-point takedown would make mat wrestling less important, and it's even more than I thought. It really is. Like, there's so many situations you don't think about from a point scoring perspective until you're actually seeing them happen. But like this one, for example, in old scoring rules, he gets taken down, he gets an escape, he chooses down, he gets an escape. Crookham does not choose down, right? So in an old match, that would have been 2-2, and then Crookham is stalling, so we get called for stalling, which then ties it up to make it 3-3. That would have been 3-2 in the old scoring system, right? And obviously, action would have changed because now he's losing, so maybe he tries harder to get a takedown. But there's so many situations like that where I'm like, oh, in the old system, this would have been tied. In the new system, this is not. So as much as I thought it was going to hurt mat wrestling, it's even more. It's to a greater degree.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I
Which you probably love, so it's all right.
I don't love or hate. I just simply do not agree. There are scenarios where...
What do you mean you don't agree?
I don't agree. I think mat wrestling is still just vital and essential.
You're crazy.
Because if you're good, if you're good on top, you can turn people, and that's.
I'll give you the simplest of scenarios, Christian. The one that happens in so many matches. I get a takedown. It just happened. I get a takedown. You get an escape. You choose down, get an escape. Now in the third period, if it would be 2-2, right? It's your choice. You're winning. You don't have to choose bottom. Yeah, that is a game changer. I agree. That scenario I just described. You don't.
I agree that that's
so many matches. He's got you there.
I agree that that's a game changer. I don't think that eliminates mat wrestling's value.
It does. It makes it way more. It does. It's not important. It's not nearly as important.
I think it's still. You can win an NCAA title as a really, really good top wrestler. I think there are ways it has been devalued. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
But I still think it's still so important to be good on top if you want to. I saw so many turns this weekend.
Hold on. Just stop saying so. Use specific words, Christian. Is it more or less than it was?
Less.
More or less? Significantly less.
Yes, but I think people, it's less. Well, you said significantly. I said less, and then you added a word.
I added for you just to make you sound more smart.
You can't do that. Don't do that. Let him sound as dumb as he is.
Yeah. Don't try to change me.
Don't put smart words in his mouth.
But seriously, like that, guys. That you realize, Christian, how and I'll give you a second one. How frequently the scenario that I described happens. It is freaking all the place. Second one, it's almost the exact same score system. I get a takedown, okay, and this could be two different scenarios in one. I get a takedown in the first period. You get an escape. You choose down. I ride you out. Okay. I choose down, I get an escape. Previously, that would have been now 3-2. I'm winning. Now it is 3-3, and we're tied. Okay? So even if you take that escape away, Christian gets the takedown at the end of the first period. He's now up 2-0. He chooses down. I ride out. So now it's effectively 2-1. I choose down. I get an escape. previously it would have been tied 2-2. Now I'm losing 3-2, right?
Yes.
So that was three very common scenarios that I just described in which we used to be tied and now I'm losing.
Yeah. I thought we were talking about Ryan Crookham versus Veto.
Yeah, we were supposed to, and then Ben, you guys got locked in on an
here's the
argument.
thing.
Sorry, it was a Crookham, not Kolialko.
McGonigal.
Thank you, McGonigal.
Yeah. Can we?
Okay.
So if we can, because I feel like once a show we're going to talk about this thing.
Veto losing is important, but the whole scoring system of all of style college wrestling being totally different, it might be more important. I don't know.
It could be.
Maybe.
I mean, the adjustments are there to be made. I think they're all proportional to the skill being shown. That's my main takeaway.
Shane Sparks, if I said I'm going to send Shane Sparks to Austin, I'm going to buy him a plane ticket. He's going to fight you.
He can't. Right. Sounds like I'm fighting Shane.
Who are you picking in that fight?
Yeah, who do you think wins?
Who are you picking?
Forget your argument. Who do you really think wins that fight?
Who do I think that? Dude, this is a good one.
There's only one state finalist.
Shane's got the energy. But he's
Shane
probably
does have
gonna
the
wear
energy.
himself out. If Christian can weather the storm,
That's what I feel.
Christian's winning.
I'm going to say Christian probably got the edge in conditioning. He also has a very
for
interesting
sure.
fight technique that he told me about where he just kind of uses the world as his arena and does drive-by punches.
This is how I beat up Ben. I told Ben this, how I beat him up.
And he said he would beat me up this way. So I'd like to see
I
this
would.
technique employed on Shane Sparks.
Yeah, I could do that. That's one of my only paths to victory.
But Crookham beat somebody.
But Crookham beat Veto. All right, let's start with a question. Is there any level of nervousness about Veto moving forward after this loss? Let's get this part out of the way.
No nervousness.
I mean, Vito's been volatile in the past. I just thought he was at a level where, I mean, Crookham's good. I don't think he's that great. I think he's really, really good. I think he's like a 2, 3, 4, 5 type guy this year, but like, do I think he beats Dayton Fix right now? Probably not. I think he's really, really good. But he lost last year. He had some close matches with maybe not so great guys last year. He had an overtime with McGonigal round 1. I think the way his body moves is really weird. I can tell you I've never really watched him to that much. The way his hips and knees move is really particular.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he had a really strange feel when Veto was on his leg.
Mm-hmm.
He could counterscore really well in a way I don't know that Veto was aware of, and now is. And you re-wrestle that match. I think you probably favor Veto certainly, but I think it's more about Crookham. 1, I think he's going to be the guy, obviously moving forward for Lehigh, and 2, he's not just a guy. He's someone that can be a pretty high placer. I put him in that kind of that Latona strata, which is an interesting comparison. He's got good, and it's funny because if you had asked me like what's Crookham's style, I kind of don't recall this incredible scrambling counter score. I remember him being really good on top, turning a lot of guys. He had like bars and tilts. And I remember him having like really solid, smooth leg attacks and finishes. I didn't remember this kind of counter ability, which is really elite. Really, really
it's
elite.
It's really strange too. So this is a guy I would tell my guys you got to attack him above the knees, right? Because if we're below the knees, his hips move in a manner that's going to be really difficult to score on.
Yeah, Veto looked surprised a bunch of times when in those scrambles that he just had something that Veto didn't see coming.
He can roll his knee and hip over and be like in a splits-ish position. Like the most evident when I was like, what is going on right now is when Veto at the end of the second period, Veto goes like head in the hole-ish, and he's got his ankle also, and the way his legs are bent is like really strange.
Yeah, Veto had him dead to rights there, and I was watching the match, and one thing I noticed is Crookham is huge.
Yeah, big boy.
He is big, wide back, legs look big, very strong-looking individual. And I was after noticing that, kind of looking at points in that match where maybe strength was a factor, and I thought that might have been a factor in that end of the second period scenario. It was such an odd position that you wouldn't see Veto stopped in normally, and he couldn't advance.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Veto couple times just kept trying to put the far leg in when he was on the single leg. I feel like one time he got counter scored, and the other time
he got taken down there.
Yeah, and the other time he just got stalemated because he rolled under. So I think he.
But that was, I mean, to me, that wasn't anything that unique. It was Crookham did the right thing for sure. He had the other side sealed, so when Veto went to throw the leg in, it was over the arm, and then he was able to wrestle with the leg. So yeah, I was totally surprised Veto made that mistake the second time. Yeah, he lost to Cannon last year. That was who he lost to. And back to the way his hips and knees move. If you watch it's I believe it's the overtime takedown against McGonigal. The way he can have it, his heels are very wide and flat, and he like sucks himself in to get the lift. It's really Shane Griffin's kind of good there also, but not to the level of the hip flexibility that Crookham has.
Yeah. So he's going to be a guy, going to be a factor for the remainder of the year, for sure. Veto will have his. Honestly, they'll both be really well tested. Crookham could see Nagao in the duel. Crookham is going to see Dayton in the duel. He'll see Veto in the duel and EIWAs. Whoa. So he will have more than his work cut out for him with his schedule, and that's not counting some tournaments and some other tough guys. I'm sure he's going to wrestle. I'm sure they wrestle Penn and Kolioko.
So I think he already do they have McGonigal move up already?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
They got Malik Hines.
Yeah.
He's not just going to see the weight. So
what I don't know. What do you do with him?
I think he's in trouble. I think there's a good probability McGonigal is not a starter at any weight for Lehigh this year.
Maybe Columbia's beautiful this time of year.
Oh.
How quick can you transfer and wrestle?
Just throwing Zeke Seltzer aside. Just like that.
Well,
that's crazy.
I mean, listen, Zeke Seltzer, I'm sure he's a nice guy. And they can have a roster battle.
He just took a loss this weekend, too,
he
right?
Lost to Nasir Bailey.
He lost to,
that was
it was a crazy one.
Nasir.
Crazy duck under. Nasir Bailey.
Nazir Bailey. And he's good. I mean, Nazir Bailey's really good. He won Who's Number One last year. So.
Yeah, he is good.
Not the end of the world, but it's not a top 10 guy either yet.
Yeah, he is a true freshman also.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we don't know how good Nasir is. He's interesting at 33, too, because I thought he was probably a 41, but down at 33, he's going to be, because he's really good on top, too. He can fire and score, but he's good from the top position. Little Rock was kind of a little bit of a story. You had Stephen Little beat Jackson Smith.
Not so Little.
Little's tough, man. I've been watching Little because I think Cole beat him at Fargo 2022, so 2 years ago. And then, man, Cole had a great juniors, but couldn't beat Stephen Little. Stephen Little was big and strong and tough. I was really impressed with him. And so I don't know if I was expecting him to beat Jackson Smith, but I was expecting, and 97 is so good, I was expecting him to be kind of, I don't know, maybe a 10 through 15 guy.
I agree. And now, Jackson Smith is kind of maybe in that range, too, as a 10 through 15 guy. He was around the 12 a year ago. 197 super deep, and Little's emergence is just, even
another
more,
one,
even more depth. But really, if you watch that match, it was the same double leg twice, and he almost had a slide-by takedown as well, but Jackson was just able to kind of get out of balance and avoid that. So it really could have been a 3 takedown match for Little. So yeah, he's really tough. I was thinking about this, back to Veto Crookham, because after Blaze beat Ramos, we're like, could you ever imagine? And we just all agreed, like, this would never happen to like a Veto, right?
But we said high school kid, in all fairness.
Okay, but
it's not a high school kid.
Let me connect some dots here.
All right.
Okay,
connect some
dots. Who did Crookham lose to?
Crookham lost to Cannon, who lost to Biscaglia, who lost to Bizakis,
who
was in the bracket with Bass.
Too many.
Right
That's too many.
Pyles.
That's
too many.
That's too many. Too many.
What's the limit? What's the limit?
Too many. 2 degrees. 2 degrees of
like
the wrestle match.
7.
Yeah. You can't. You're skipping stones here.
You're done.
Yeah. No. We vetoed you. You're
vetoed.
So
1,000 times out of 1,000.
You're so vetoed. Vetoed. That's funny.
1,000 times out of 1,000, Veto beats Bo Bassett in folk style.
Oh, 1,000. 1,000's a lot, Christian.
Yeah, 1,000's a
How
lot
many
of
times
time.
Give me 10. Give me 10. Give me 10. I'm saying yes. Give me 1,000. I'm saying that's a lot.
1,000, you never know. Yeah, 1,000 times. I might be able to beat Ben 1 out of 1,000 times.
Oh,
well,
for sure.
no.
Yeah, I think so. You're kind of old now.
He might. Yeah, he could do a violation. You would for sure take a dive if he did an illegal move on you, right?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah,
Oh my
big time.
God.
Now, do you have a strategy for enticing illegal moves so that you can take a dive?
Yeah. I would try to get into the rear standing position and jump on the mat return, land on my own head.
Yeah.
Act like a soccer player and then
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, did you guys watch
I would
watch
sue.
the Beckham documentary?
No, and I don't know if we're gonna talk about the Beckham documentary. Right
It
now.
was really good. I really enjoyed it. But he got kicked out of the World Cup in like '97, and he like flicked this guy with his heel, and the guy just fell over. Like these what soccer players do, right? He was literally laying flat, and he like curled his heel up like boom, and hit this guy, and the guy fell over and he got kicked out. It was preposterous.
That's what I
you
would
do, Ollie.
That's exactly what I would do.
You know what you can do in the hand fight? You get the guy's wrist right here, and you extend him, boom. Poke yourself in the eye.
Yes.
That's not illegal in wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm poking you in the eyes.
Fine.
It
Bam,
should be.
bam,
It should
bam.
be illegal. There should be an issue there, but it's definitely not.
If they think you do it on purpose, it's a point. You can't poke someone in
Yeah.
the eyes. You can get away with it, but it's not in the rules that you're able to do that.
I'm gonna do a penetration step into an eye
Sure,
poke.
that's fair.
Yeah. Oh, his eyes. Ben looks like he has vulnerable eyes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Very pokeable.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So my dad had to have this surgery. I got too much skin right here. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So my dad had this thing where it sagged down eventually as he got older. So I'll probably have to have that because I got a lot of skin right here on whatever the heck this part's called.
Botox Ben.
Yeah, you need some of that retinol cream, bro.
I don't have Botox. I don't do that stuff.
No, you need
I don't even wear deodorant.
Yeah, we know. Ew.
No, Ollie, I got a Gmail function. No body odor.
Ew. No.
Ah, I'm dying. Okay. All right. Anything else on the Crookham matter before we...
No, but back to folk style wrestling scoring systems. I just thought about Feldman. Feldman won a match because of the new system. Because he got ridden out and he gave up an escape and he got a takedown with short time left. It would have been 2-2 tied going to overtime, but instead he wins.
So they both had a ride out.
What? No, he won. He got taken down with like 5 seconds left.
That's a ride out.
Right out.
Oh, my eye roll, Christian. So Matt Wrestling is devalued. His opponent got both an escape and tell me a 2-minute ride out's not hard. A 2-minute ride out, that's kind of tough.
It is hard. For sure it's hard.
It is hard.
So is taking down Hunter Katka.
Big cat.
Well, it should have been equally scored upon, not but
That's
go
just
on.
like your opinion, man. Let's get to, since you mentioned, the duel of the week was Virginia Tech versus Ohio State. And, man, Ohio State, I felt like, outperformed every expectation in literally every match, in my mind, at least.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It started with Brendan McCrone majoring Eddie Ventresca.
Wild, huh?
And Ventresca got majored twice this weekend. He lost to Jack Maeda of American 9-0.
He's not used to the new
like, in all fairness, Ventresca, this is a problem I have with Flo here.
Oh, God. Don't even say
clickbaiters. No. But it is semi-unfair that Ventresca was the 27 going into NCAAs last year. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, 27. So if someone was ranked 27th and they go into Vegas and they have a really good tournament, beat some ranked guys, they're going to move up to like 15 or 14, somewhere. They're going to move somewhere in there, right? But because it's the NCAAs, all of a sudden you say, oh, they're number 4. And it's like, well, what about the rest of his season? And then Ventresca comes out and he gets drilled twice in the first week.
Yeah, you sound like me. That's what I say.
What?
But yeah, I agree
well,
with
we
you.
agree.
Wow. I never... Look at that.
NCAAs matters. It needs to matter the most. And honestly, another thing I'll say is like, okay, so who goes in front of him? Like Eric Barnett, Steve Poulin?
All of them. But look, he just lost. Okay, last weekend, McCrone got majored by Nick Babin and beat 6-1 by Tristan Lujan.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not saying like, well, McCrone just elevated and he got way, way better. It's like, McCrone's like, he's tough. I watched the match. He's pretty scrappy, but Ventresca just needs to drop, probably 18 or something.
Oh, he's gonna drop tremendously.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be dropping now.
Yeah.
Barnett. Barnett literally lost to Eddie at NCAAs, and he had, as we know, Eric's kind of a Space Mountain kind of guy.
Space Mountain, that's 125.
I know. So what I'm saying is, while Eddie at 4 does sort of stick out because he was the 27th seed, Barnett goes ahead of him. Why?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
Because I think you don't. I think in most weights, what we do is we have previous results, and they're kind of more static. 25, just move them wherever they were last weekend. Wherever they were last weekend, just throw them wherever. You sucked last weekend.
Rankings,
you're at 26.
They're not an eye
test. Get
down
there.
You can't do that. It's got to be based in some sort of facts.
No, Space Mountain 125. We're gonna rate them on where they were last weekend because that's
Kamacho was ranked too low.
Put him number 1.
I think he'll be 2, probably behind Noto. If I had to guess, but
New York stand up.
But to me, he's number 1. But yeah, we're trying to talk about the duel. Yeah, Ben doesn't let us ever talk about what we want to talk about.
Ben, stay focused, all right?
What?
Can we talk about the duel?
I think that's why you hired
focused.
No.
Well, now we're firing you because of it.
Yeah.
Shoot. Does Ollie really have that power? I don't think he does.
He does. He pulls all the strings. We do need a tangent counter, and you get a couple tangents per show. Because you're right, it is wonderful, but we should start. Okay, that was tangent.
Tangent limit is 5. Tangent limit is 5.
Listen,
5 tangents.
5 tangents.
That's too many.
Guys,
he's already over.
The scoring system of folk style wrestling
changing
that is not a tangent. That is the story. You guys don't even realize it. That's the thing we got to talk about. We had these propositions of this is how it's going to turn out. We have theories, and now we're seeing live matches in action, and it essentially says bottom position, we don't care nearly as much about you.
No, you're right, Ben. The rules that we found out months ago about are definitely the bigger story than a world champion losing to an unranked guy. You're definitely
that's we're actually seeing them in action. Yes.
Okay.
So Ohio State wrestled really well. They won 24-12. Ben, do you have any thoughts related to this?
Well,
event?
I do. So many. The story of the duel is JD Rader going 0-6. He couldn't pick a damn.
That is so funny. Bro, hold on.
He was just talking about that.
I'm gonna send this to Tyler. I want you to just screenshot. Here, I'll send
the pics.
I will send you the screenshot. Please put this on there.
I need to know JD's NFL and college football picks so I could pick the opposite and just fade.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Keith Gothard's first week in the Pick'ems when he literally missed, he was 1 in 12. And the crazy thing is, theoretically, these are coin flips, so you can't have a bad pick.
You could throw a dart and it would do better.
Yeah, Natalie would have beaten JD. Mm-hmm. I'm certain of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, besides JD, I thought most of the duel kind of went as predicted or close to as predicted. Isaac Wilcox a little better than I think we assumed he was going to be. Rogotsky, he's a wild man. He's
moment of silence for JD.
He looked good. He actually doesn't usually shoot that much. Ooh. He looked really good. Oh, ouch.
Let's look at the screen.
Look at this.
Ooh, ouch.
Man, all wrong. Me and Ben are tied to start the week. Enjoy it, Ben.
Man. Wait, Donian blew it. He gave up a third period takedown to not cover the spread. Yeah. I'm disappointed. Bryce, I've been a big fan. I'm a little bit disappointed. Finish the match strong, baby. Don't be giving up third period takedowns.
I feel like you haven't watched a lot of Bryce Andonian. That's how this feels.
What?
He does stuff like this all the time.
All the time.
He is crazy.
Wild man.
And also, he sometimes doesn't generate. And Patty and Bryce are like best friends also.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, hey, I can't cover the spread against my best friend. Honestly, this should be an insider gambling scandal. We should probably have them suspended for the whole year. They listen to FRL.
Did you say
he wanted me to lose. He's suspended the whole year.
It's a gambling scandal.
Classic gamble scandal.
Okay. I thought, I thought D'Amelio actually wrestled Henson pretty well, and Henson still won by 5.
Yeah.
That's how good I think Caleb Henson is. Man, him and Van Ness both look great this weekend. I think they're
agreed.
Very well could be the NCAA final. Wouldn't surprise me.
I thought those two, like the Latona-Bouzakis match and the Henson-D'Amelio match, I didn't see a lot of differences. Like, it's not like I look at one person, the winner being that many levels above the next guy, but they were pretty much the same match, and Bouzakis only lost by 2.
Yeah, he kept it. Got
a little garbage time takedown.
Yeah, but those count.
Yeah.
I think, 65 was huge for Ohio State Wilcox because we've been kind of penciling in Hepner as this guy. He's not been wrestling yet. I don't know if I think there is an injury there. So Wilcox steps in, beats Connor Brady, and then Ryder Rogotsky, when he pinned Fisher, it's like, all right, this is kind of over. Because it was crazy because Mackay beats Karchla, and it was still somehow 12-12, and it felt like Ohio State had out-wrestled Virginia Tech, and they were still only tied at that point with 3 matches to go. But then after that pin,
VT's got a really strong front of the lineup with Latona, Henson, and Adonian. Those are the 3 matches they won. So I think, having Bouzakis and Gallagher wrestle those 2 tough made it feel kind of like more positive for Ohio State than the score would have reflected.
Yeah. Well, Tech had the ranking advantage at 84, 97, and heavyweight, for what it's worth.
But I think if you go back to our show on Thursday, I think we were mainly picking Ohio State at those weights despite the ranking advantage.
Yes, we were. And Feldman was a favorite over Katka despite how close that match was. And which brings me to my next thing. Feldman is someone I think, have hypothesized as a top 10, probably an All-American this year. He has not lost yet, but does this match or his previous matches give you a little bit of doubt if he's going to be that guy this year for Ohio State? Because he looks small to me.
I would say a lot of doubt, and if you're not going to get away from Hunter Katka, you're probably not going to get away from a handful of those very best guys. I mean, Kirkwood's probably going to tilt you or ride you really hard. Well, Cassiope's not wrestling anymore, otherwise he would ride you really hard. But there's a bunch of those guys in the top who are really tough on top and hard to get away from.
Yeah, so I'm with you. And he wasn't close to escape. He was kind of flat, if I'm remembering correctly. Kind of that whole 2 minutes. Like, he couldn't build.
Such a bad feeling as a heavyweight. It's hard to build in that situation. It's hard to build. You guys think it's so easy to just build up. There's a whole man who's just as big as I am, if not bigger.
Much bigger.
Yeah.
Hunter Katka is so big.
So it's not easy.
Especially all of them.
Yeah. That's the thing. All of the persons on top.
It's all of Hunter Katka.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. So I think, it's 2 really, really good teams. I think they both have a chance to trophy. The standout for me, even though, the level of competition has to be mentioned, but Jesse Mendez is just killing people this year. And though he hasn't beaten, I don't know if he's wrestled a ranked guy yet, but he wasn't winning like this last year against those guys. So you can't put too much stock in it, but my mind was kind of like, dude, can this guy go with the bows and the real woods?
Well, it looks like it when he's not wrestling that many good people yet, but he's doing what those other wrestlers would do to these guys as well. So
what do you think?
Bo Bartlett versus Cornell is a thing this weekend. I feel like this makes it okay. Listen, let me just preface it with it, because some guys they get mad at me, they think I don't like him because of FRL. Bo Bartlett, I'm sure he's a tremendous human being, but man, he was very, very defensive. He countered, I think, 2 or 3 of Cornell's shots to a no-score position, in which Cornell was very close on one of them, and then eventually won in overtime against Vince Cornell. So, man, he just still, I think he's in 4th year of college maybe, just not very aggressive or offensive at all. I don't think he took a real committed attack in the first 7 minutes.
No, nor in overtime. That was a counter score.
Yes, true.
Yeah, no, I watched that match and I was even though it's sort of like the stereotype about him that he does fall into that in some matches, because he majored Malik Hines and he was generating offense and scoring. He did have some counter scores in there, but yeah, I was surprised he didn't pull the trigger really one time against Cornella. I thought.
Yeah.
And listen, I think we all think really highly of Vince. I think Vince is a podium guy this year.
Very good.
And he was a true freshman last year, only going to get better at Cornell. But I thought, man, I think Bo was a little too respectful. And maybe it's just like when you're that good defensively, you're like, this guy cannot take me down.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if that's in your mind, this guy cannot.
Old rules, they would have had a takedown there, which now this is a rule that is good at changed because he was in that rear standing position, and Bo actually went right to his shoulders. Did you see this?
Oh yeah, I think I tweeted
it was
about
like not half a second. That might have been a pinfall, but I mean, old rules, and it's good that they changed this because this was not a good rule where they had the instantaneous takedown from rear standing. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, he did get to rear standing on him. I mean, if you're Cornell, you're like, well, I can beat this guy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was
can
still
I do
Bo's
a
first
PSA right
match,
now,
too.
Christian?
I don't. We don't want you to, but I guess.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, I'm just trying. Ollie, all I'm trying to do is help people. This was Ventresca also. So Eddie Ventresca, let me help you out here. Guys, if we're rear standing, we cannot follow Granby's.
Yeah.
Why not?
You can't follow Granby's. You follow Granby, you're going to get put on your back most likely. Like, it's not good. Just let them go and follow. You know who did a great job of this? Such a good job. Is Marcus Blaze versus Jax Forrest. He did it like 5 or 6 times. Like, it was so good.
Yes, I did notice that. You're right. That's a good.
All right, good PSA.
That's a good helping note. I love the technical.
You guys are funny.
Yeah. So, what were we talking about? Oh, Bo Bartlett. Yeah, he did not shoot. Yeah, he didn't shoot.
I kind of like Bo Bartlett. He's got heavyweight vibes with the not shooting.
But when he shoots, you're like, bro, that's such a good shot.
Yeah.
Like his leg attacks are so nice and fast and clean, and he finishes them generally. Like he has good offense. He has really, really good defense. So yeah, him versus Mendez will be fun because Mendez is going to attack.
He's going to attack. He's going to give him what he wants there.
Yeah. So could have some really fun scrambles in that duel. Luke Giog looked good against Andy Smith. I'm excited for him as this freshman. And I have to assume that this means for sure that Hoffman is descending down to 184.
I guess so.
Which is, that's pretty sizable news. We talked about it, I think, a week or two ago, but it seems like that's what's happening there. Also descending, Anthony Etchemendia is going down to 141, it appears.
That's going to be
the frickin' Iowa State duel. We'll get to it later, but
so much fun. That's
going to be insane. Any other thoughts on the Virginia Tech Ohio State duel?
No, I think we covered everything that I wanted to bring up.
All right.
I got nothing.
Nothing else. I thought Nebraska looked really good against Campbell, a pretty tough Campbell team that, after the Southeast Open, we're like, man, they're pretty tough. And then they won 9 matches. The only match they lost was the heavyweight, Tay Gadali, who got a major over Bart Harley.
We talked about how good he was last week.
Yeah, he's good. So he was the only one that got a win. Lenny Pinto's there. Peyton Robb got a tech.
Wasn't that heavyweight the only one that lost against North Dakota State also?
Yeah, but was that Bart Harley versus Juan Mora?
I think it was. I think Harley
got
might
pinned.
Be
right.
Oh, that's rough. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Is that so? Okay, as a heavyweight.
Yeah.
What's it like? Duel comes down to you so many times.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. I would say it builds character. You learn how to deal with a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I would only win in those moments.
Really?
Yep.
That's huge. He said, "Yep."
Hey.
No, it was Cale Davison. It was Cale Davison. Apologize to Bart Harley Andrews.
Oh, you got another rules question?
Bart? His name's Bart?
I don't know what his name is.
His name's Harley.
There's a show.
There's a motorcycle.
There's a show.
How many times are you going to say this name?
It's kind of like my Steve Bowman Chevy Dodge thing.
Yeah.
It's Bart Harley.
But people know about that one.
Well, yeah, but now they know about this one.
Okay, good point.
This is from I Think You Should Leave. There's a bad baby, the worst baby. Mm-hmm. Bart Harley Jarvis, but I say Bart Harley Andrews. It's fine.
We're good.
Okay, I got a question for you here.
Okay.
So I believe it was Flo, but it might have been Nebraska Wrestling who posted the clip. Did you see the double leg of Antrell Taylor on? It was like the edge of the mat.
Yeah, I did. We did not post that.
So in this scenario, and because Burroughs was the master of this, right? It is perfectly acceptable for you just to diving headbutt them right in the face.
Yeah.
Into a double leg. But at other times, it's illegal. And even like the Mizzou Tiger, Johnny Eblin, couldn't control his temper, and he headbutted someone back in, 2015, and it moved us from 3rd into 4th place, I think. So if headbutting is, in fact, illegal in wrestling, why is it acceptable to headbutt someone in this scenario?
I'm not entirely sure. I think some of it's like the direction.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you mean the direction? Like you're going straight at him, and then boom, you smash him in the face?
Well, if
you stay straight, it's legal. You can't come up and do the headbutt.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, if you're like an airplane taking off.
You guys are making this up.
No. I mean, I swear, I think that's the actual, it's not maybe written in the rules, but I think that's part. Also, there is an element of wrestling. What's your first line of defense?
That's
You're
what I was
supposed to get your head in the way.
Yeah.
So maybe this guy's getting his head in the way. So
My thing is, if somebody had their hands down there, you're still allowed to shoot through their hands. They're using their head as defense. I'm just not going to nullify and not shoot. Don't put your head there. That's how I call it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought that was because you could see that the guy got smashed, and he was like, "Oh, my face." And it is perfectly acceptable in this scenario to headbutt someone. And listen, if headbutting's okay, whatever, I'm fine with that. I love battling, but let's just clarify the rules for everyone.
Well, I would say it's not necessarily. Are you saying that any head-to-head contact is a headbutt? Because that sounds like what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying when you lead with your head and your goal is to aim it right in their face. And in this scenario, because the scenario when he used it and when Burroughs used it is when the guy is kind of like lower, like they're really, really low, like they're kind of crunched up in the process of getting up a little bit. And so the only area you can really actually aim for is probably their face, because there's no other part of the body exposed. Yeah, I don't know.
They're aiming like for the chest and the face.
Whatever, I can be okay. I can be totally okay with. I'm just asking for clarification.
I just don't make the connection that it is a headbutt. I just think it's different. I think I see there's a little inconsistency that's probably just as unsafe or whatever, the head-to-head contact. But I think you know it when it's dirty, when it's an Eblin thing, and I think you know it when it's a double leg through the.
But so I'm asking, what is the difference? Because in one scenario, I am ramming my face in your face in order to get what I want, the legs. And the other one, I'm ramming my face in your face because I'm mad. But at the end of the day, you're ramming a face or a head into a face.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, and I'm all for more strikes being allowed in wrestling.
I love it.
Okay.
I think you should be able to open hand hit somebody to set up a takedown.
Oh. Well, you kind of can, as long as you hit them like right in the back of the neck. That's what I encourage my athletes to. So you got to wrap your hand like this, and you can't come wide is the key. The key is to just use this part right here, and then wham, right in the back of their neck. And you can't slap them; it's too loud. People don't like the loud slap. It's the thud. You got to thud them with this part right there, right in the back of the neck.
Okay, Ben Askren, dirty wrestler, dirty coach. Well noted.
No, I thought you knew how to heavy hand fight. Apparently, you don't.
I mean, it sounds like you're teaching people to
I
open
would heavy hand
rabbit
fight the
punch.
crap out of you, Ollie. One of these clubs, and you're gonna be like, no, I don't want any more heavy hand fighting.
Well, there's only one way to find out, Ben.
Yeah.
There's only one way.
All right, I'll be in Austin in February.
Well, I'll see you then.
Dang.
All right.
Back to Nebraska. The middle of their lineup is really good. Between Hardy and Rob and I forget his name, curly-haired guy from Idaho, Ridge Lovett. They could score a bunch of points here. I don't know. Besides those three, maybe Caleb Smith placing high at NCAAs. Maybe Pinto's got flashes. Allred's got flashes, but I don't know if they're guarantees.
I know. We say that about Silas. He's the dang Big Ten champion. He's a little more than flat. He should not be in the Lenny Pinto category. I'll say that.
No.
He won the dang Big Ten.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard tournament to win sometimes.
I think he
or
could,
all the time.
But he didn't place last year. He lost to the ladies' man, Jacob Warner. But now he's gone.
97 is just so good compared to 84.
It is really good. It's a very matchup dependent, and now it adds Trent Hidley and Aaron Brooks to it.
Mm-hmm. Gets a little spicy.
Makes it way easier then.
Yeah. Ever heard of them?
Yeah. So yeah, Nebraska does have a really good team. They've got a finalist potential at 41, 49, 57. as you mentioned, I mean, who knows what's going to happen at 125? I sincerely believe, and I've been saying that I feel like the tier, the upper echelon is Kamacho, Ramos still, and Figueroa. I think those are the three. And we'll see about Noto. Could be Noto in there. Mm-hmm. But that being said, Caleb Smith still could be a guy who could, one, beat some of those dudes, and two, place high. So you can't count him out. And now you think about the fact that Iowa has taken losses, with the suspensions, and the second, third place trophies could be up for grabs. Now remember, it's only 3 now. Mm-hmm. They said it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to make these trophies.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
This is some fine craftsmanship in these trophies. So there's only 3 now. So it's going to be harder. But I think Nebraska is a team that is going to be in that mix potentially. But they're going to need guys. It's going to all have to come together. It'll be one of those teams where 97 Silas Allred's going to have to do well, and Lenny Pinto maybe a little run. Anshel Taylor's got to be, what people think he's going to be.
Yeah, things got to line up kind of well for them to be doing.
But I think that's going to be true for almost every team, second and beyond.
Well, usually that you need some breaks in there. They certainly help in that time of year.
Well, I would say, a lot of times you can be second or third, and your team's so good that you can have some guys. I feel like this is
okay.
I'm just saying I don't know it, but I think this could be a year where you're almost going to have to really have a great, because there's so many teams in the mix now. Because I was looking at the top 9, I feel like so many of these teams could contend for a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Okay.
We're getting some murmurs in the chat asking what happened to Teamer. We haven't gone over that yet.
So it looks like he got a concussion and then didn't wrestle the rest that day or the next day.
Brain injuries are not a joke.
They are not. It's the ref kind of gets right in the way as it happens, and then next thing you know, there's no shots or anything, but then Jacory's just holding his head and then the match ends.
You can kind of see he looks even a little wobbled, shakes his head, and then steps off the mat and looks like maybe he's going to continue for a little bit, and then they pull the plug on it.
Sometimes you get those those glancing head-to-head shots, and so maybe it could have been that.
Maybe Ben coached the other guy and teaching him these ridiculously dirty rabbit strikes to the back of the head.
Judy chops.
Yeah, they literally don't allow it in UFC or MMA.
It's unbelievable.
It's fully legal.
Cool
no, it's not to the head. You go right here, right to the neck, right there below the ear. That's a great boom.
Right by their spinal cord, so they're paralyzed.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever paralyzed a man, Ollie.
That'd
be a cool criteria to have, my collar. Listen, this is like those old martial arts guys, before the UFC was a thing. Even though some of them are still so stupid, they want to convince you of it. My collar tie could paralyze a man. What if that was on my resume?
I paralyzed
then you're
2 men.
Oh crap! I can't let him collar tie me.
I've paralyzed 2 men, so.
I don't think that's true.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember, man, still, some of these guys, these old martial arts guys are yeah, I could kill a man with my hands. I'm
yeah, they just go this.
No, you couldn't.
And they're dead.
You'd be in the UFC if you could do that. No, I could kill him. No,
I highly recommend the Instagram account. It's called McDojo Life, and it shows all these fake karate dudes, and someone just comes at them, and they just do that. They don't even touch the person. It's just like this, and they just go down. They go
flying. Yeah.
It's who? I mean, they say there's a sucker born every day or something like that, and they all go to these dojos.
Yeah, but suckers have Instagram. They got to be able to see
that.
Yeah.
How do you get tricked? I don't know. People are very trickable.
Very trickable.
I'm trickable. Shoot, I don't fall for that.
You're pretty gullible.
But if someone I know and trust and love tells me something, shame on me that my impact's to believe.
Oh, Ben, you got to see it. I lie to CP all the time, and he looks so dumb.
I just believe. I just believe a friend.
He's so dumb.
That's why Ben and I get along, because we're both very gullible people.
And not smart.
And not smart. Okay, what else happened here? Keegan O'Toole looks okay.
He looks pretty good. Ever heard of him?
He looks great.
I think he's got that starting spot on lock.
No lineup controversy there, I don't think.
And you love to see that. Okay, Hold on, let me see what I got next.
You were going to crap on the I looked at the doc. Don't even start. You're just crapping on the Tigers. It's a warm-up event, and, like Robbie
Did I
Howard
not just say that
looks
Keegan
rough for
O'Toole
Penn
looked
State.
Yeah, it looks like
Penn State looks bad. It's because they have one guy that doesn't look great.
Who did I say didn't look great?
Yeah, why don't you just talk? What do you?
Listen, you have all the bad things on here. You have all their losses.
They were actually the only notable things.
Well,
I'm not kidding.
You want me to read? I'll read the first line if you want me
Well,
to.
you're actually exposing confidential company
this is
documents here.
Proprietary in nature.
Yeah. This is don't go ahead and be showing or talking too much about this.
Listen, go ahead and read it. It's just what to me it was the most notable stuff.
Got it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Mizzou, we smashed it, the Tiger Style Invite. Killed everyone.
Oh. Yeah, y'all did win the Tiger Style Invite. You beat Little Rock, who got second.
Mm-hmm. Tough team.
Mahler is going 57, apparently, officially, for sure. Cal Miller.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Cal Miller beat Josh Edmond, which surprised me a little bit. Nasir beat Seltzer. Kemp over Mako.
Honestly, that was a match I was a little worried about because Kemp has had some good results in the past. And yeah, it was a close one. He finished a clean double leg, unfortunately. But, Peyton's lost. He lost early last year to Ruth also. So he'll make it right as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, he was coming at the end. It looked like he could maybe run him down. But he walked into two doubles, basically.
Yes.
And kind of the same shot, he was just caught him coming forward and took him down. Nothing to worry about there. Clayton Whiting beats Colton Hawks in overtime. Left side high crotch gets to finish in OT over Hawks, so he maybe
starter.
I would say.
Yeah, and he beat Sean Harmon in the semis. I mean, Mizzou's got three tough guys at 84. Harmon has beaten Plott previously, so I got to assume Whiting's going to be the starter, at least for a little bit. Nice win because Hawks is, 11, I think?
I have a question, Ben. Have you ever been on a team, specifically college, where you've had one of these lineup battles where there's a few people that could go at the weight, and how is it kind of being in the locker room, and do you kind of walk on eggshells around that situation? Is it kind of weird? Does the team have their one opinion that sometimes differs the coaches? How's that ever been if you've been in that situation?
Yes, there were a couple. I mean, the most notable was Mark Ellis and Tom Bradley, obviously. And those guys were both guys who could compete for national titles. And Mark won one, 2009, I think. Yeah, it sucked, obviously, because both those guys are great guys, and they both wanted the starting spot, and they both worked hard, and obviously their very close friends are pulling for them. And I think just as a coach, you have to have it create as little tension as possible. And then for them, I was a coach at that point. It was like talking them into continuing to train with each other because they're heavyweights, so there are less people for them to go with, and they are the best partner for each other, right? So getting them to continue to train together. We were able to do it, but obviously I don't think there weren't any hard feelings there. I think both of them wanted the spot, and obviously only one of them could have it.
Okay.
It'd be like that.
Was it pretty tense though?
I don't think it was terrible. I mean, that's my recollection. But yeah, I mean, obviously in certain cases it can be really terrible, and other coaches do a great job of, just having the kids understand the situation that they're gonna put the best guy out there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, certain situations have been very explosive where guys leave teams over stuff like this or whatever.
Who are you rooting for more?
Yeah.
Where?
In that Don Bradley situation you were just talking about.
I mean, Mark was my roommate, but I tried to stay impartial. I tried to just stay as whoever the best guy is going to win, and then whoever's not the best guy is going to support the other guy. So I tried to stay as impartial as possible.
Did anyone ever
I still try to do that because obviously with AWA we have we have situations where guys have to wrestle each other, and you just try to show them both that you support them both, and one of them is going to win. And because that's what wrestling is, and you're going to keep supporting them both afterwards.
Yeah, but we always got favorites, but I won't make you answer anymore.
You don't have kids, so you don't understand. I think the kids thing makes you understand more that you don't have to have favorites.
Yes.
How do you guys know I don't have kids?
You better not have kids. If you got kids, I'm officially mad at you.
I would not be doing my fatherly duty if I had kids.
Yeah, we'd be fighting right now.
Let's see. Anything else that Tigers not invite? No, Clayton. I guess going to start. They have. I'm going to go to Mizzou for the Arizona State duel this weekend. We're having our audition trip with 7th and 8th graders, so should be awesome.
That'll be fun.
I'm going to tell Jacory to attack you.
We're getting
Jacory going to go?
Faking an injury still.
I'm not telling you guys.
You missed that. Ollie, did you just miss the comment I had?
What'd you say? Yeah. I'm sorry. CP was saying something stupid.
I said he might be faking an injury still.
That's not funny. That's not funny. Brain injuries are serious. The whole NFL's put on notice. The numbers are dropping. CTE, traumatic brain injuries, TBI.
Are you citing television ratings?
Yeah. No, TBI, traumatic brain injury.
Oh.
Smart boy.
I thought you were talking about T.I., the hip-hop rapper.
I mean, Rubber Band Man slaps.
Okay.
Yeah. Should be a good duel, though. I mean, so Clayton will have Tony Negron, who's he just had a big win.
He just beat Gavin Quinn.
You know, had a big win.
Another Long Island man.
Long Island stand up.
He why did him and Kyle both go to 184? They were 65 and 74 last year, and then like we're both gonna go the same weight.
What? They were both in the gym getting them gains, and that's it.
Getting so big at Arizona State.
Yeah.
Why didn't one of them stay at 74?
They didn't want to stop the gains. They kept gaining.
Doesn't make any sense. Negron was a 57.
Yeah, I know.
We saw it work for Rashid.
Another Long Islander.
Yeah. So that's
65 to 97. He went 57 to 84. It's fine. I don't know about Kyle. I don't know who Arizona State is planning to start there. But
did Negron have no, it wasn't. Who had a close match with Bernie? Someone did. It wasn't Kyle. It was in that same pool. It was in the same pool.
Rowley?
What?
Rowley?
Rowley. Yeah, Rowley had a 7-4. 7-4.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It was like it was a pushing for the major and then
gave something up.
Gave up a counter score like right at the end.
Garbage time.
Let's while we're at the Journeyman Collegiate Classic, let's talk about it.
Let's get into it.
Ton of action.
Well, that was where we started. Now we're back to the beginning again.
People are talking.
It is kind of where we started.
Full circle.
How do you guys feel about the brackets? I was thinking a lot of people are really mad about these brackets because it is freaking hard to follow. But obviously, I understand from a coach's perspective is like, you know, the Tiger style invite. They do a six team thing where everyone's gonna get 3 or 4 matches against Division I opponents. That's exactly what this is. But I think some people can't handle that 2 really good guys are in the same gym and they're not going to wrestle each other.
Yeah, I think that does get under people's skin. People are like,
it's disappointing.
Trent Hiley and Aaron Brooks are there. Why didn't they wrestle? You know,
Levi Haynes and Meyer Shapiro.
Levi and Meyer. But I mean, it is. It's at this stage in the season, and maybe just generally, teams are really wary of like competition being too high at a certain point in the season. And think about Penn State, it's their first competition. And so do you want your first competition, and it was for a lot of teams, do you want your first competition against the elite? Do you want to hit all of Cornell? Do you want to hit all of NC State? No. And same for all these teams. Like a lot of them are like, Cornell's like, we're going to Vegas. Mm-hmm. We don't need Meyer Shapiro to, I'm hypothesizing, but like, we don't need him to face everyone right now. And there's tons of horse trading there, making these so that you're getting decent competition, but you don't want to see like, you don't want to run the gauntlet the second weekend in November.
There's a reason why the Alabama Crimson Tide play like Tennessee State their first week of the season. So it makes some sense, but it's definitely disappointing, especially in that scenario where you kind of see them in the same gym and they're just separated like that. It almost kind of makes me just like,
I actually don't get it. I mean, I understand. I understand what they're trying to do. I understand that part of it, and I also understand the idea that they want to get like 3 matches instead of like some of these open tournaments are so dumb because the 6 match in a day rule they can't even finish, right? They get like halfway through the contests and they're done and like, okay, this is dumb. So I understand them not wanting to have these 64-man brackets, but I still feel, and I encourage my athletes, and I understand from an emotional component, I literally tell them, hey, if you can't handle losing a bunch, then maybe don't go in as many. But if you can, competition's feedback. You want feedback. The best to be the best version of yourself, you need as much feedback as possible. So if you can get feedback from in-match participation, that's going to be great. So go wrestle the best as you can, get as much feedback as you can, and then move on from that. And I know that doesn't jive with what a lot of the best college programs are doing, but that's my opinion on the matter.
Yeah, I understand it. But, yeah, it's the reality. It's not any one team. I think it is like across the board.
Most of them
generally are not hitting really tough competition early. That's what makes Virginia Tech, Ohio State kind of stand out. You're like, there's no duels like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, like the Iowa was worse. I complained. They went to Luther. That was a very average D2, D3 tournament. I mean, it wasn't even a tough D2, D3 tournament, and they just mud stomped everyone.
I think they're just trying to. I think in that scenario, they're just trying to get. There's like a ranking matches component, and just get matches against anyone.
But to me, it's like, okay, this is what I tell my guys. Go back to just what I said. Is like what we want is feedback. If that other guy sucks, if I'm wrestling Ollie, I'm not getting real feedback. Ollie, I'm sorry, you're just not good enough to go with me. Like I'm not. I can do any move I want, and it's gonna work. I don't want to be offensive, but I'm just not getting anything of value. So why would I waste my time?
Of all the wrestlers in America,
you had to pick me.
You had to pick Ollie. You could have picked
You don't even know about my skills. Yeah. You've never seen me in action.
Because he tried to bring you out.
That.
He tried to bring you out for a clinic.
Yeah.
You said, nah.
Yeah, I said, get me. That's what's really happening. You knew years from then that I would come back and be a rival of yours. And you didn't want me
If the competition level is too low, you can't get real feedback. It's too bad. They just, all the moves work. You think you're Superman because the guy sucks and all the moves work. For real.
I see your point. I definitely don't see how I fit into that scenario, but I do see your point of like you can just throw out any junker move and it's probably going to work at that point.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that like kind of sucks, and it would be awesome if it wasn't like that. But that's just how it's going to be. So
it's kind of like when we go to Pan Am some years. It's like
I don't
know that this person. I don't know if this person has worn these shoes before.
Yeah.
Those shoes are freshly worn. This could be this man's first pair of wrestling
and for
shoes.
Iowa, the thing that compounds a Christian is those D2 and D3 matches, they don't count towards the 15 minimum.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But back to the Journeyman, right? We
attempting.
Let me scroll through brackets. You know who did? Yeah, you even brought Mitchell, which I thought you would because he had a very interesting first round match.
What?
What are you saying?
I thought you would have brought up Mitchell already.
Well, I was waiting for it.
Okay.
Here's your opportunity.
I was actually really impressed with Ruiz. I thought he wrestled really well. I thought he was tough. I think Mitchell could have attacked above the knees a little more because Ruiz had a really good Shin Wizard series and did a really good job in a handful of scrambles. And then in the third period, Mitchell got caught in that cradle, and then he trickily got out, and then he put himself back in the cradle.
I'm blaming you for that.
No, I would never advise
absolutely.
that. Like, you're up by,
you guys are all
you're up by a whole bunch of points. I don't know how many you're up by. Like, how about if you get caught in a cradle? Okay, listen. Okay, I advise risk taking to a certain degree. So I'll take the blame for the first one. I'll take the blame for that. Okay.
Well, that was the 4-pointer.
He popped out, but then he put himself back in the cradle. Yeah, I wouldn't have advised that. So, like, why are we playing on fire here?
You advise putting yourself in a cradle, but don't put yourself back in the cradle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was trying to avoid the takedown, so sometimes you got to take some risk to avoid a takedown.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's all about knowing where the line is. Here's why I need to have a whiteboard back here. But what I say to my guys, 'cause I have one freshman in particular who he likes risk just way too much, and so he just does like. I think 3 times this preseason, he's either been tied or winning matches and like held onto a reversal and gets pinned. And it's like, why do you just like risk so much? But it's like, if the line's here, right? And you're only willing to go to here, you don't ever find out how far you can go, right? So you have all this more room to work with that you never figured out. So ideally, as they're young, I want them to go to the line. Okay. Well, if they go to the line, like where they're about to be in trouble, inevitably, sometimes they're going to go over the line, right? They cross the line, and now they're on their back or they're in trouble. Well, then ideally they say, okay, well, when I went this far, I got in trouble. So now I can only go this far, and now they're still in trouble. But then they figure out exactly where the line is. That's what I want them to know. I want them to be able to take as much risk as possible without actually getting in trouble. That's the goal.
Habitual line steppers.
I like how Ben needed a whiteboard to show a visual of a line and going past a line. I think we can all understand that concept without a visual.
So Mitchell did good. 14-10 over Nico Ruiz. He did. The only points of note were Ben's fault. We've already acknowledged that.
Yep. Bad coach Ben.
Honestly, Penn State looked good, pretty much top to bottom, except tough outing, tough first competition back for Robbie Howard. Lost 2 matches, lost to Dylan Ryder by major, and lost 8-5 to Max Gallagher. So still a little ways to go.
That's
there.
a head scratcher, Christian.
Yep.
When you talk about, last week we were talking about how good high school kids are, and Robbie Howard was a 3-time 17U world teamer. He was like cream of the crop, and he's like in his 4th year of college. I don't know where he's at right now.
Well,
but
he's missed 2 years with injury, so that
could have an effect.
Yeah.
First competition back in a really long time. But yeah, Braden Davis, maybe he ends up being the guy eventually, or maybe Robbie rounds into form, or Kurt McHenry. I don't know, but 25.
They have a lot of. Think about how many guys there. I think Kurt McHenry was ranked number 1 at the point. I believe Robbie Howard for sure was ranked number 1. Yes. Gary Steen never was, but I think he was pretty close. And I think Braden Davis was ranked number 1 for a small period of time. Correct?
He at least wrestled at who's number 1. I don't know if he was ever ranked number 1. But he wrestled at who's number 1. So yeah, no doubt they've got guys with high school credentials there. We talked about, so no Nagao at 33. We'll see, when he's back. Sounds like November, but we'll see. David Evans, Penn State's second string 141, beat CJ Composto, All-American for Penn. Reasonable upset there. Malik Hines beat Evans later. Bartlett, we already mentioned, beat Cornella. And he had some nice wins otherwise. Van Ness, 3 first period falls.
It's nice.
Very aggressive.
That's what you want to see from him. I feel like that's when he's best, is when he's chasing the fall. He's dangerous.
Yeah, he's good. He looked good. Levi Haynes had a little something.
Wait, what do you have?
I think with a knee. I think he ended up getting his knee taped up.
He's got a knee, huh?
He's got a knee. But he wrestled all his matches, I believe. And he won by tech, major, and pin.
Okay, pretty good.
And he pinned Kale Berg.
Still a Kale?
Kale's a Kale.
What's there? I'm trying to look through and make sure. The brackets are really hard to look through to because sometimes they got the really good people in Pool B also. So
it's chaos.
Yeah, it is nuts.
I don't know if there's an easy way to display it. If there is, we don't have it yet.
I'm sure that there's a good reason for it and everything, but let's just make matchups for these guys, and then that's just that.
Yeah.
Let's just match make. You don't want him wrestling this guy? Okay, cool. Let's make him wrestle these guys.
These three,
these are the matchups we got, and there you go. That's what I think.
Yeah, Aaron Brooks was Pool B. He's just not very good. Oh, hey, long-time listener, Scott Cleaver's son. He got a big pin over Luis Fernandez in Pool B.
Yeah.
I feel about that.
Ollie's heavyweight, Luis Fernandez. But don't worry, Ollie's fine at heavyweight because he also has Tony Castillo. Oh. I'm sure it's going to be fine.
I've always been a kind of a second half of the season kind of guy.
Okay. We'll find out.
I don't know that Castillo is going to make it back for the second half.
No, it's not a roster.
It's not right. It's not right what they're doing. Un-American what they're doing to those guys.
I don't like it either. In fact, I hate it.
He's certified. He said it was good news.
I said it could be good news, but the NCAA is going to do what they want.
It doesn't matter. I'm not paying the $50. Come and get it. Come and collect. That's what I say.
Oh, you're so trustworthy.
Yeah. Well, you know
I
what?
will hand fight that $50 out of you.
Actually, this is what I'm going to do. Steal 50 from CP's wallet and say, here you go. Here's 50.
I don't have cash.
Well, I'm going to steal your debit card, go to the ATM, and take 50 out.
I actually don't have. I don't have a debit card either.
All right, I'm going to steal your laptop, take it to the pawn shop, get $50.
No, this isn't mine. If you only get $50 for this laptop, that's bad.
Well, it's a good deal then for whoever's buying it.
Yeah.
Ben, you need a laptop?
I'm good, thank you.
$50, can't beat that.
Okay. Mitchell looked good. I think he looks a little small for 55.
I told you I wanted to wrestle.
You need to tell him about the creamery. They got ice cream there.
Creamery. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what they call it.
I mean,
they always talk about it.
Why not?
Why haven't we been there? Have you ever been to Penn State?
No.
Oh,
I've never been there.
That's why you haven't been there.
Yeah.
I went for the Ohio State Penn State duel in 20, whatever dang year that was, the really good one.
Yeah. CP was asking.
18.
18. I think it was 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember my story is Carter Starocki was a recruit sitting right behind me, trying to tell this girl all kinds of facts that maybe weren't all the way true.
I do the same thing.
All you can do is your best. Carter had 2 pins and a tech. Best guy he wrestled, I think, was Nick Incontrera. He actually got a forfeit here, which I didn't know really what happened in this scenario.
The other guy got a
Bernie, I thought looked good. I thought he looked really sharp against Valencia. I thought his rally match was good. He did give up the late takedown, but I think he looks really good. And honestly, watching him, I'm like, I can't believe this dude was a 97-pounder last year. He looks reasonably sized at 184, but not big.
Well, he was a 65 a couple years back, too.
Guy likes eating. He didn't feel
he
like
likes eating?
Yeah, guy likes eating. Didn't want to cut.
Brooks looked big, strong, and good. No one on his level. And then we saw Trent Hidley majored Michael Beard. It was like kind of a regularish looking decision, and then Trent got like 2 takedowns in the last like 15, 20 seconds to get the major 12-3. Pretty impressive showing. He looks good size. I thought Beard looked enormous, and he still
not doing it.
Beat him pretty soundly. Did you watch this match, Ben?
I did not see that one. I didn't realize that was a thing. I actually just realized I kind of looked through last night, try to find all the good matches, but I saw Hidley and Brooks are in different pools. There's not going to be any good matches, so I should have watched that one.
Yep. Oh, we haven't talked about the Kamacho Ramos match
yet.
Yeah. Great match.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Match,
and, you know, also in the same duel, Blaze versus Ed Scott.
Yeah.
Because I sure thought that was a takedown for Ed Scott on the edge there.
Yeah.
Did you?
I don't know.
He never went out of bounds. And because the other guy's hand touched the wood floor as he was falling, give him 3.
It could have happened. You love Ed Scott, though. I got to admit. You are
Scott. He's a scrapper.
He's one of your favorites. No, great job by Joey Blaze. But I am actually trying to talk about Matt Ramos versus Kamacho.
Yeah, we were talking about something.
If we can, do you have any thoughts there?
Yes, down buck go behind was good, but Kamacho just kept shooting, and he's good at finishing, and so Ramos was not able to scramble out of it. No, I don't think I have any other huge thoughts to talk about. I think all 3 of us picked Kamacho, didn't we? In the picks?
Well, JD couldn't have because he got everything wrong.
JD for sure blew it. He just blew
it. My gosh, JD was 0 for everything.
Yeah, he missed on everything. He thought Ramos would win by 2 or more, and he did not win the match.
0-6 at the barbecue.
Yeah. Again, really hard to do.
Yeah, very bad.
Really hard to do.
Very bad.
If I said, JD, I need you to get everyone wrong,
he couldn't do it.
He would have gotten them all right.
Yeah, he couldn't do it.
Well, so why I don't think they gave the 2, it's kind of a silly thing, but like if your hand lands on the gym floor,
out of bounds,
it's OOB. So,
well, it's the rule should be the rule is if you touch something that's off the mat, you're out of bounds. But like they were in the process of falling, and Ed Scott was never out of bounds. So just because the first thing that hit was his hand, like that's dumb.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you from just like a rules standpoint how it should be. Man, it's so close. Man, they actually the official called the 3. And then blew it off.
Yeah, they went back and reviewed it.
There's a lot of big coaches just pointing scarily at him.
Yeah, that's a fun situation.
Yeah, it's got to be nice.
Oh wow, that's funny. But anyway, I think for Ramos the last week or so, I think it's a time to buy Matt Ramos stock if it were one.
Oh, Shane Sparks type of deal, baby.
Man. No, for sure.
Buy some stock. Oh, we got to pull. I don't have my phone. Pull up that Shane Sparks tweet. Will you please pull it up from yesterday?
I can't do it.
You know exactly which one I'm talking about.
I don't know.
It's just so.
And Christian, you got to read it in Sparks' voice.
Man, okay. All right, let me pull it up. Jeez. The everyone is beatable one?
Yes, of course, that one.
Let me repeat. Everyone is beatable! 7 exclamation marks. One more time for the people in the back. Caps lock. Everyone is beatable! 2 exclamation points. It's hard to win wrestling matches.
You did
it's hard.
Yo, you're really good at that.
Man.
That is good. That's really good.
He really gets into character, too. I just looked at CP in the
actor.
face, and I didn't see CP anymore.
I'm a method actor.
Oh, so good.
I'm like Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, I thought you might mean this one. The predictions, rankings, opinions, etc.
Oh,
Don't
I didn't
get
see
your
that
points.
one.
Oh my gosh, this is the most. I think this is more Shane than anything. Predictions, rankings, opinions. Don't get your points on the scoreboard. In this sport, nobody is safe. In this sport, you have to go out and do it. You better be ready. And caps lock, everyone is beatable. Man, I love this sport. It's going to be a great season on the @Resolite.
On the mat. He's a
he's
plug God.
That's a sponsored post right there, baby.
Yeah. This is sponsored. What about Dolomer mats? Fine mats. I think the finest mats.
Yeah. Yes.
Unbelievable.
The only mat for me.
Unbelievable. But yeah, Shane was crazy there. Yeah, those are vintage Shane Sparks. I don't even know why we were talking about that. Oh, because the stock. I'm buying Matt Ramos. Listen, he lost to Marcus Blaze, who one is that guy, and two, training partner, weird stuff. And I thought
Kamacho versus Ramos could be the NCAA final, and no one's surprised.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Ramos wins, part of me.
And also, he could have won that match, too. He was there to win that match.
Yes.
It's not like Kamacho didn't, separate himself as, super... removed from him, even though I think Kamacho is better. Anyway, so yeah, don't get down on Matt Ramos. He's still really, really good. Okay, and then Ed Scott loses to Joey Blaze, Blaze the Elder, as we call him.
The Blaze brothers really blazing it up. You see what I did there?
That was great. But Blaze, he had a loss last week, which
he did.
I didn't realize that. Hold on, I can't remember the person's name.
I will look it up for you.
Let me give the proper credit. He lost to Jared Kessler from Pitt, whom I'm not familiar with.
I don't know much about him. He's got a good win.
Navy beat Pitt. That's a nice win. Navy's been they beat Illinois and Pitt to start the year.
You like to see our armed forces with strong starts.
They're doing a good job.
Hey, Ollie, my friend Scott Cleaver says if you want a real Long Island heavyweight, you can start cheering for Keaton Cleaver of the Hofstra. What's the damn name? Hofstra Pride?
Yeah,
Pride.
Hofstra Pride.
The Hofstra Pride. All right,
Did they used to be something else? I think they did.
No, yes, they were. The Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
The Flying Dutchman?
I feel that's wild, but I think for a hot little second.
Why did that?
It's something weird. It is the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Till 2001.
Wow. All right, well, that's the heavyweight for you to cheer for, Ollie, and for your fantasy team if you need someone.
All right, say less.
And now what happened in 2001? They're like, no more Dutchmen. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Dutch didn't like it.
Yeah, perhaps the Dutch said enough of this.
The logo was horrible.
Oh, it's so. What, the little crown?
Maybe Tom Ryan
it's like
was
a guy on like a rocket.
No, that's not. Was that really it?
I'm trying to bring up the picture of it. Yeah, it's a guy on a rocket.
That
does not look cool at all. That's why
he's smoking a pipe.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I don't know. It looks like Charlie Brown. Doesn't it look like a Charlie Brown cartoon?
It looks like Charlie Brown in an old leather football helmet.
You guys don't need to look it up because we were describing it perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. You know what it is now.
Okay. Other things that happened. There were so many. We waited like an hour and a half to get to
the big things. Yeah.
Hey, Christian, you didn't even tell the people we will now be going an hour and a half because it's wrestling season.
Sometimes we'll go. We have up to an hour and a half. Now listen, if it's not there, we don't push it.
Yeah.
We don't try to find the line. If it's there, we take it.
Also, another thing CP didn't tell me, so I didn't know we were going an hour and a half today, and I didn't know I was going on Thursday, but I'm here, and my bladder's getting stronger every day, so we're good.
Ben couldn't make it an hour show, like I think last week. He literally left.
I was up early,
I
was staying hydrated. I just had to pee. I'm not going to torture myself for you, Christian Pyles.
It's not about for him, it's for the people.
Exactly.
It's for the people, Ben, and that's something you failed to understand, and that's why me and you will never be the same.
Wow.
I thought I should just have something I can pee in right under the desk here.
I'm honestly surprised you don't have like a chamber pod situation.
Honestly, now that I think about it, I'm gonna just
No.
All right, I won't.
Also of note, Anthony Ferrari beat Victor Voinovich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So second semester, maybe he's the guy. It was not a definitive victory. He got 2 stall calls in the first period, and then they traded escapes, and that was the match.
College wrestling is more interesting when there's a Ferrari in the mix.
Yeah, and maybe we get 2, and eventually 3.
Yeah.
I think,
wow.
I
Too
think
many
2.
Ferraris. No such thing.
Need a bigger garage. So that was, I think, the only real notable stuff other than Gabe Arnold. He thrashed his way through. I'm curious how they're going to use him as we think about the Iowa State duel. Do you use him at 74? Do you use Kennedy at 74?
Riggins is rough. Who the heck did he lose to? I looked at the Luther results. I do not recall them right now.
I don't think he's going to be the option they need this year. I think they're going to need Gabe or Kennedy, and you use Gabe at 84. Like, I'm thinking about the Iowa State duel. Someone actually sent me this idea. Kennedy at 74 and bump Gabe to 84 against Feldkamp. Because I actually think that's a decent matchup. Because otherwise, Feldkamp, he's a pinner, and he could pin Gabe Arnold. Don't get me wrong. But, I feel like the quality of wrestler that Gabe is could make it tough for him. But Swafford, he looked all right against California Baptist. So,
and Bradley Hill at heavyweight, this be for Keeter, he lost to the Augsburg kid. Yeah. That's where they might also be pulling Peter out.
Yeah, but not in November. He's on football till December.
Well, just take off the pads, come on over for a minute, and go back.
I don't know how the Iowa football team would. I don't think they're gonna be a big fan of that.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that. But did he ask?
Okay. It would be insane. That would be a crazy if he came out. What if he came out? His song starts playing and he comes out with a football helmet on
and just strips down. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But pads and everything.
It would be a lot cooler if he didn't have to wrestle Younger Bastida afterwards, because that's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
he looks really good. Iowa State, they wrestled Davidson yesterday, in fact, and notable things that happened there. Cody Chittum wrestled at 157 for the Cyclones, so it looks like he might be the guy. He got a major. He also got a haircut.
Did he?
A major haircut.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about that. I was on board.
He always had
What's he got, a fresh fade going now?
No, it's just kind of like a buzz. Very, yeah.
I'll send him to my barber.
No, he looks good. Don't change him. Don't try to make him Cody Stone. Let him be Cody Stone. That's kind of a cool sound.
That did kind of sound cool, yeah.
He kind of sounds like a guy. He sounds like he'd be kind of cooler.
Might name my son after Cody Chittum.
Yeah, Cody kind of flows.
Hey, the Iowa State, is this the greatest chance they've had to win the Iowa State duel in how many years?
Well, there was the time when Gomez had DeSanto on his back.
That was probably a pretty big opportunity.
Yeah.
But going into it, I don't think anyone felt that way.
Nobody did. No.
Nobody did.
That was nuts.
That was crazy. So, yeah, I think this is their best shot since.
When was the last time they won? Early 2000s?
Oh, yeah. This is why Sion needs to be on this show now.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with that statement.
Well, the one year when Kit was coaching, they had a decent chance. That was when there was Nick Fanthrop, Kyler, Mitch Mueller, a bunch of these dudes. Paulson's maybe. No, they would have been graduated. Who else?
Think Bacchus.
No, it was after that. I think it was Reeder. Yeah, Reeder. Zabriskie, because Zabriskie was younger.
Brisket.
Varner.
It was after 2007, so it was either 2007-8 season or 8-9 season, one of those ones.
7-8. I'm trying to think.
It was in Carver Hawkeye.
Yes, I remember this duel. That was a good duel. Yeah. That was a close team race as well. Mm-hmm. And then they left after 2009. Anyway, but yeah, this is their first chance, and it's still going to be tough for them. I kind of laid it out, kind of how I was seeing it right now. But with so many lineup questions, who's
for real?
Who's Iowa using at 74, 84? Mm-hmm. I don't know. The problem is bonus. I'm like, if you're an Iowa fan, Bastida's gonna. It looks like he's gonna tech or pin whoever he wrestles.
Yes,
because it's not Keeter's not going to go out there. 97 is a match where it's like that's a match where it's a classic duel match because that match will have like no merit for like anyone's season.
But
here, it could literally change a duel, which is like the main reason that duels shouldn't determine the team title. But that's a separate aside.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take that bait.
Yeah.
But so if they use Gabe Arnold, I'm assuming obviously Luther Open, there's no way that was attached. But Iowa State is one of their big matches, but they would have 5 total. So it's like, okay, but then they're gonna have Nebraska, that's gonna be a big duel. They're gonna have Michigan, Penn State, Oklahoma State. Is that your 5 that you use right there? Because that's like that's 5 big duels.
Yeah.
Maybe those are the 5.
Yeah, very possible. So I think Iowa is a favorite, probably slight favorite, 25 over Terrakina, although Ayala can lose that match. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of a toss-up.
For sure.
Teske, maybe slight favorite. 41 Real is a favorite, and that's where Real probably needs to be a bonus point guy.
He's got to come through for him big there.
49, if it's Swiderski, Voinovich, I don't know.
Swiderski. Favorite for sure.
Yeah, I mean for sure. I don't know, but yeah, favorite.
Favorite.
Favorite. 57, Franek. 65.
Franek shit him. That might be fun.
I feel like
that'd be spicy.
I feel pretty confident in Franek in that match. But
give me a score.
I don't know. New math now. 7.
New math.
Give me old math match.
No, 7-2. New math.
Okay.
2 takedowns and an escape.
I'll take old math.
Old math. 65 Carr, and I don't think Caliendo will get I bet they wrestled last year. He's a big
they
guy.
wrestled. It wasn't a bonus situation. But that was old scoring, so.
Old scoring. Yeah, this is new math.
New math. Let's just call it new math the whole time.
Yeah.
Caliendo.
I'm down for new math.
Whoa, I don't know if they did wrestle.
I thought they did. I remembered it. But,
well, they didn't. That's crazy.
Am I wrong?
He wrestled Franek.
No, that would have been 2 years ago.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
He's wrestled Franek, but not Caliendo.
Okay.
Strange they never hit.
Yeah.
I guess Keegan
same conference and everything.
Keegan probably beat Caliendo at Big 12s.
That is true, yeah.
Okay, so that's probably why. Okay, so yeah, and then 74, who is Iowa sending? I don't know.
Could you tell me?
Kennedy. I think Kennedy.
Probably Gabe, because they need to win this duel.
Well, what if they do the other thing where they bump him to 84 and they use Kennedy at 74?
What would you think of that?
Wait, why didn't Kennedy wrestle last weekend?
He could be serving a smaller suspension, maybe.
But if it's smaller, that'd be really small to not be back by, or to be back by Iowa State.
Maybe he won't be back. I don't know. I think he'll be back.
Suspensions, man. I've had enough.
I just wish we knew. But they just say, hey, these guys are out this year.
Yeah.
These guys are out. This guy's out.
They're all going to be in. That's what I'm thinking. Cassiope.
It's going to be tough.
He's going to win it all.
And then 84, Feldkamp's a favorite probably. 97, I don't know. Heavyweight Bastida. So yeah, going to be a crazy.
Who was Iowa State's 97?
It was Julian Broderson yesterday.
Oh, no. It was who just wrestled. It was the other, was it a Cuban guy or? Yeah, it is. It's, hold on. Let me look at the roster. Iowa State Wrestling. What is his dang name?
Ben talks when he types. He's one of those guys.
All right.
I'm trying to host a podcast here, Ollie.
Villascusa? Fernando Villascusa?
Yes, him.
Okay. So he was 3-6 last year. He got pinned by Cody. He
won the
wrestle
off though.
He got pinned by Colton Hawks, tech by Clayton Whiting. Just Missouri. He lost to Bennett Berge, pinned by Sam Skillings.
Brutal.
Yep. So
yeah.
I'm not sure he's
might
going to
be a tough spot there.
Might be tough. But it's not like I was rolling out.
Yeah, you got a point.
It's going to be crazy. All right, we should get to some questions.
Yeah, we only got a few minutes left.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It went kind of fast.
And I got to pee.
All right. You guys and your pathetic bladders. And I have championship levels of hydration.
Yeah, well.
I can just tolerate. I'm just crazy.
I'll beat you up.
I've had a lot of long family road trips that have trained me for this.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Shout out Mr. Pyles.
Shout out Tracy. Let me find a good one. What's a comparable upset to Crookham over Veto? I would say Coleman over Brooks is pretty comparable.
Yeah.
World-class guy loses to a really good guy, but you would never predict it again.
Yes.
Is Blaze over Ramos that level?
I think that's a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Because we just don't know what Blaze's level is, and we're not going to see it because he's not going to have the rigor of a college schedule.
Yes, but when you just straight up put on paper, high school beats #1 ranked NCAA wrestler right there.
That's kooky.
That's kooky.
Can wrestlers transfer after the start of the season, compete for a different school that same year? I don't know how it works now, but I remember Dawson Peck was on Virginia Tech's team and then transferred to Chattanooga and literally pinned Ty Walls later that year.
What?
Yeah, this was in 2014. This is my first year at Flow. It was at National Duels. But so it's happened. I don't know if you can do it now or not with the new transfer rules.
Weird, because it seems like there's less rules.
Yeah, I was just going to say if there's...
Yes. So I don't know. Do you see any questions in there, Ben? There's a bunch.
I saw one good one.
Okay, hit it.
Folk style, Yanni versus Zane. How do we see that playing out?
Man,
I think Rutherford's the favorite.
Yeah.
Give me a spread.
It's close, but I just think he would have the mat wrestling advantage where he's going to be able to maybe get some ride time potentially. Although Yanni didn't get ridden that often, but there were very few people who were as good as Zane on top.
You just said how much mat wrestling doesn't matter anymore, and now you're going to refer to mat
wrestling.
Wrestling.
They're old, so I think they should go under the old scoring rules.
No, new scoring rules. That's why it's different.
I think in both scenarios, I would favor Zane.
Yeah, and I think Zane would be bigger, obviously bigger. Well, I'm sure they would adjust for weight somehow, but Zane was a 49-pounder and Yanni was a 41-pounder most of his career.
Yeah. This is more of a factoid.
I like factoids.
He says, I'm calling it right now. Shane Van Ness winning it this year and beyond. Not 1, not 2, but 3 titles. LOL.
Oh, all right.
He put the
that's
LOL
not really a
at the end.
factoid. That's like a claim. But still, it's not a fact because it didn't happen yet. But yes.
Not a factoid.
I love it when people do this right here because I'm sure so you're going to start talking about NC State a little after this weekend? Question mark.
It's their first competition.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's like.
So we will.
So yeah, we will talk about them. We typically wait for them to wrestle and then we talk about them. We talk about NC State all the time, including I'm the one that's been pumping up Jacob Kamacho.
Yeah, he's been Kamacho this, Kamacho that, Macho Kamacho.
Why don't you listen, Preston Cave 3?
Yeah, Preston Cave 3.
I talked about Trent Hidley. He's a beast. Ed Scott, tough loss. Maybe had 2, 3 rather. Yo, I'm gonna do the. I'm worried.
Are you gonna do this or this?
How about
they do this?
How about?
I don't like it.
Hey, how about this one? Eric Rage says, you get a tech fault, you get a tech fault, everybody gets a tech fault. This is not good. Jim Gibbons had some good points on this topic, too. Too much emphasis on the feet. Don't disagree with that point. I actually thought...
Foreign-born wrestlers won't have to fear the bottom.
I know, that was weird, right? I'm not even going to address that part, Christian. I didn't even read that part.
Sometimes you got to fear the bottom. I
think
Gilman's on bottom, you fear the bottom.
I think is what he means. But anyways, I think this is the greatest thing of the 3-point takedowns is the fact that the tech fall is closer. I mean, it made me realize the tech fall was too far away. I mean, you used to have to murder someone to get a tech fall. Yeah. Now you just got to kind of beat him up pretty good. I love it.
It's to me, it's all about incentives. Like the rules are not just the rules. It's like what do they incentivize? It's like, man, and like Bernie's firing off that takedown to push for a major that's not there in a 2 takedown match normally, but it is now. I think it's good. Same for the techs. Without getting into the other aspect, I like that all that's more attainable. It makes comebacks more attainable. It makes bonus points. It's all more attainable now because of the fixing the ratio. So for that reason, I like it.
Yeah.
It's weird
It's good.
adjusting to the 3-point near, the 4-point near fall, and now there's 3-point near fall. But it's 10. We did a full hour and a half. We could have kept going. So
We had a lot of fun.
we had a lot of fun. Thanks to Ben, thanks to Ollie, and especially you for tuning in on this Monday morning.
And thanks to you, CP.
Oh, well, thanks. Don't ever thanks me.
Yeah.
That's a first. We will be back Thursday. Ollie will be here. He found that out on the show. And he already cleared his very, very busy schedule to be here.
Boop, 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 boop. Cleared.
Thank you, Tyler, for clearing the extra half hour of show. We need it. You guys were asking. I'm getting a lot of tweets. Are we going to go to 3 days a week? No, we're not. But we are basically adding on another show by...
Yeah, time-wise. Adds up.
In a way, yes. So we just did 1.5 episodes today.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
FRL 789.5.
Yeah. All right. Actually, we're at 9.
Yeah.
74.
Nice.
But it was I got quick numbers.
Bye.